Mum, are you? I think I keep trying to call it him because it's just like Seb and full of nonsense. So I don't really mean it. Most of the time. Standing by. Standing by. Sorry, Andrew, you cut out? Yeah, I do now.
The last one on
Myself and Graham, he was Lalapan's. Just if you follow Voyateller Access, you'll see just before you get to Aubrey's Road some tracks going off into the bush, and he was lying next to the road. No, Matata. I'm actually going to be heading up that way soon. In fact, the more I think about it, the more Teddy is actually like Seb. It's only just occurred to me. That's obviously why I keep trying to call it a male. You want to sleep and Seb's there.
What do you
wanting
mean?
to play.
A bunch of dirty dishes in the sink.
Yeah. Seb, if you're watching, now I know. You've been giving Teddy lessons. Or have you been learning from Teddy? I don't know. What did you see, Teddy? Nah, Mum, I don't want a bath. Can I say hello?
When we first saw Teddy, she couldn't climb over that log.
Yeah.
She had to go around it.
I can't even remember that size, I really can't. She's definitely got that very bright spot just on her rump. She's still got it. I remember seeing that about a month and a half, 2 months ago.
On the right side?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very light.
Yeah, I've got it in my head.
Why don't you go and lie in mud, missus? I'll help to relieve you. Yeah, that is Teddy's mum.
There's the white spot.
Hi, Jody. And good afternoon to you. Wanting to know, where are the male hyenas? They're around, we just don't see them. They can occasionally become a babysitter. But what we've seen with this clan is one of the mothers tends to be babysitter if there's any babysitters around. Sometimes there's no babysitters. Sometimes the cubs are left to their own devices in the safety of the tunnels in the den. Of the den. Yeah, I want some food, Ma. But we have possibly seen them out and about. If we bump into a hyena on the road, for example, it is possible that that's one of the males. but there's not really any reason for them to be around the den. And the reason why there is a communal den is really for the cubs. But otherwise, the hyenas can sleep out in the bush, as we've seen on a number of occasions, just finding a hyena sleeping. Like Floppy Ear today, she might have been there all day. It could be that she comes back, she feeds the cubs and then goes again, and she goes out foraging tonight. So she possibly doesn't spend that much time here. And remember, we were going through a couple of months where we were wondering what's happened to Floppy Ear, and we even thought maybe she's died. But obviously those cubs, and forgetting that we'd actually seen Floppy Ear previously and nursing those cubs, because I was convinced that she was one of the mothers, and then she just disappeared. And it could just be that we were just coming here at the wrong times to see her. And we were seeing a lot of Teddy's mum, because Teddy is quite small, so Teddy's going to be needing milk on a much more regular basis than what her cubs are, being that much older. But what I have come to realise is actually they don't grow that rapidly, sort of even compared to the leopards. If you think about how big the leopards are over the year, and how big Floppy Ear's cubs are over the year, they've not really grown. And I think that's why I thought they were a couple of months younger than what they were, because of this. There was just very little size difference. And even now, between Teddy and the almost year-old cubs, there's not that much size difference. So they're very slow growing, which is something I never realised until fairly recently. Sure. Sorry, lady. Who was that? Patty! Good to hear from you, Patty. Yeah, Teddy's mum does... I noticed she did have a bit of a cut on her leg. I did notice that. Does look like it is healing, though. And that scar, just over the top of her back, is quite a nice identifying feature. As well as her ears. I forgot her ears, because there's the other female who doesn't have any notches in her ears, so we have to be a little bit careful, because if she's in a fight or anything, that will change. This one, she does have a little bit of pink, actually. If you look at her lip, there's quite a lot of pink on her lip. But certainly, as I say, that's a stripe across the back. But if you look, actually, now that Teddy's with Mum, look at the difference in the coat. Teddy, the fur is much longer than Mum, and much darker. You see the spots, very black. And with age, they do tend to fade. And with age, just like the buffaloes, the adults do start to become quite thin, or they start to bald almost. Their fur definitely starts to thin out and become much shorter. just like the old buffaloes as they get older. And that's one of the reasons, just going back to why they're called Duggar boys, that's one of the reasons why they do need to put mud over their body to protect their skin from the sun. You don't really see hyenas actually rolling over in the mud. You don't really see that. I think they still have enough fur on their bodies to actually protect them. They just use the mud for cooling purposes. And feeding bouts can last an hour, hour and a half sometimes. But now Teddy is over 4 months old now. They are going to become less. Or less frequent. Okay, well I do want to head up towards where Shvambalana was, see if we can't find the lady. What I'd love to know actually is if the leopards and the hyenas recognise each other. And with them growing up in the same area, the same animals will interact at some stage, and I do wonder that relationship. I mean, Floppy Ear seems to be pretty relaxed around the leopards nowadays. It was almost as if she was babysitting the other day. If you remember, Shavinzi wasn't too far away from where Floppy Ear was laying. We've seen Floppy Ear at the base of the tree and barely even bat an eyelid when Karula leaves the tree. But put a piece of meat in the mix, you see very different animals. I'm glad we got to catch up with Teddy and Mum. Alright lady, we're going to leave you in peace. Thank you so much. Bye bye Teddy. Seb will be back soon.